2012, Tanya McDowell, a homeless black mother, was sentenced to 5 years for lying on her paperwork to have better residency for her son's school system. Her story is now sparking outrage on the heels of Felicity Huffman's situation, where she was only sentenced to 14 days. Here to give us more insight on this story is Onyx News correspondent Nia G. Nia, this story with Tanya McDowell is from 2012, but it is bringing new outrage right now on the heels of this whole situation with Felicity Huffman. Why is that?
That's right, Nietzsche. It's because of the continued disbelief and disdain that we as an African American people continue to get injustice wise when it comes to our judicial system. The treatment has always been different, just as in this case, Ms. McDowell was sentenced to 5 years in prison for changing an address, as you stated, changing the address to her son's babysitter, where he could go to a better school than in living in the impoverished area or district that she currently lives in.
You know, I want to, there's been some questions about whether or not these two stories, the story with Felicity Huffman and the story with Tanya McDowell, have any similarities. What is the legal system's perspective on the similarities of these two stories?
Well, you have Assistant State Attorney Michael DeJoseph that's saying that this is like mixing oil and oranges. They totally don't mix. For the simple fact that, yes, Tanya McDowell was sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, it was in conjunction with another case. She also was accused of selling narcotics to an undercover police officer on 2 different occasions, and then the charge of filling out improper paperwork or incorrect paperwork to send her son to a different school district. So it makes the cases similar but different. The outrage comes is where you have the case of a black woman getting 5 years for the paperwork, and the case of a white actress, famous with money, Felicity Huffman, that only received 14 days for paying off a proctor $15,000 in order to raise her daughter's scores on the SAT to get her into an Ivy League school. The difference between the two are similar, but then again, when you look at them with the additional charges of Miss McDowell, they're not so similar.
So, do you believe that she was sentenced solely because of the drug charges, or did this have anything to do with her also being sentenced about changing the address for her son's school?
I think the school changing paperwork would have probably given her a slap on the wrist because it was not a serious crime. They're saying that it's grand larceny, but because she had never been indicted before, she had never received any other punishment or had any other cases before the judge, I believe that it would have been a slap on the wrist. What added the extra time is the drug charges. 2 of them, 2 accusations of selling at 2 different times to undercover police officers. That's a whole different ball game all by itself. The community is outraged for the simple fact that you continue to see before a judicial system the disdain that happens when it comes to white law and black law. There is a complete difference, but in this case, you can't compare the two solely.
Very, very interesting story. Nia G, as always, thank you for joining us and have a great day.
Thank you, Nietzsche. You have a great day as well.